Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is WireDogSec, back with another video for you guys. Today's video, we are inside of TryHackMe, Advent Cyber 2024 event, and this is task 27, reverse engineering, day 21. Help me, I'm reverse engineering. Hopefully y'all are ready to learn something today, having a good day today. Let's go ahead and dive into it and see what they have for us today. The story. McSkitty's alert dashboard lit up with an unusual alert. A file-sharing web application built by Glitch had triggered a security warning. Glitch had been working hard during this season's Sockmas after the last scare with the Yule log exploit. But this new alert caused McSkitty to question his intentions. McSkitty began to investigate. It seemed the source of the alert came from a binary file that made its way to the web app's backend. It did not belong there. It had some anomalous activity. The binary was compiled with .NET. This whole setup seemed quite unusual, and with Glitch working on the latest security updates, McSkitty was filled with suspicion. As McSkitty continued her investigation, Glitch rushed into the room. I swear I did not put it there. I was testing defenses, but I wouldn't go that far. McSkitty reassured him, "This doesn't look like your work. Let's get to the bottom of this. Put on your decompiling hat, and let's see what we are doing. Let's learning objectives. Understanding the structure of a binary file, the difference between disassembly versus decompiling, familiarity with multi-stage binaries, practically reversing a multi-stage binary connected to the machine. And this is what we need today. We need the attack box. Yes. Do we need the VM? Yes. Split screen available? Yes. Am I given credentials to connect directly to it? Yes. So all that's out of the way. And this is how you start the machine. Click this button here. Here are the creds to get into it. Right here. Introduction to reverse engineering. Reverse engineering, also known as RE for short, is the process of breaking something down to understand its function. In cybersecurity, reverse engineering is used to analyze how applications, also known as binaries, function. And this can be used to determine whether or not the application is malicious or if there are any security bugs present. And here's an example, I guess, of some kind of crypto ransomware thing. Wanna Decryptor 2.0. Okay. For example, cybersecurity analysts reverse engineer malicious applications distributed by attackers to understand if there are any attributable indicators to associate the binary with an attacker and any potential ways to defend against the malicious binary. A famous example of this is the WannaCry ransomware in May 2017. Security researcher Marcus Hutchins reverse engineered the ransomware application and discovered a specific function within the application where the malware wouldn't run if a particular domain were registered and available. I remember this. I remember this. This was a big, huge deal that happened back in 2017. Marcus then registered this domain, stopping the global WannaCry attack. This is just one of many famous cases of reverse engineering being used in cybersecurity defense. Binaries. In computing, binaries are files compiled from source code. For example, you run a binary when launching an executable file on your computer. At one point in time, this application would have been programmed in a programming language such as C#. It is then compiled and the compiler translates the code into machine instructions. Binaries have a specific structure depending on the operating system they are designed to run. For example, Windows binaries follow the portable executable PE structure, whereas Linux binaries follow the executable and linkable format, which is ELF. This is why, for example, you cannot run a .exe file on Mac OS. With that said, all binaries will contain at least the following: a code section. This section contains the instructions that the CPU will execute. A data section. This section contains information such as variables, resources, images, other data, etc. Import, export tables. These tables reference additional libraries used, imported, or exported by the binary. Binaries often rely on libraries to perform functions, for example, interacting with the Windows API to manipulate files. The binaries in today's task follow the PE structure. This structure will be explained throughout the task: disassembly versus decompiling. When reverse engineering binaries, you will employ two primary techniques. This task section will introduce you to disassembly and decompiling, explain the key differences and their pros and cons. Disassembling a binary shows the low-level machine instructions the binary will perform. You may know this as assembly because the output is translated machine instructions, you can see a detailed view of how the binary will interact with the system at what stage. Tools such as IDA, Ghidra, and GDB can do this. And this is an example of what they're talking about here. See, there's a lot of stuff going on in here. Decompiling, however, converts the binary into the high-level code such as C++, C Sharp, etc., making it easier to read. However, this translation can often lose information such as variable names. This method of reverse engineering a binary is useful if you want to get a high-level understanding of the application's flow, and this is what that looks like here. They're using IL-SPY, it looks like. All right, and you can see it's more human readable, like they said. There are specific circumstances where you would choose one method or the other. For example, decompiling is sometimes a best guess based on the tooling you've used and does not provide the actual full source code. A table outlining the key differences between the two has been provided below. All right, so let's take a quick look at this table. So you got comparison, disassembly, and decompiling on the right here. Readability requires knowing assembly language and low-level knowledge of computing concepts. Decompiling requires familiarity with programming and logic. Level output for disassembly. The translate output is the exact instructions that the machine will perform decompiling. The translate output is often a best guess. The output may not be accurate, and useful information such as variables, functions, names, etc. will be or likely be lost. Difficulty. Disassembly. The difficulty can be considered higher as the machine instructions are translated into assembly. Decompiling. The machine instructions are translated into a high-level language, which makes them easier to understand if you are familiar with the language the binary is written in. Usefulness, disassembly. The entire behavior of the binary can be studied given enough time. Decompiling. Decompiling is a quick way to understand some of the logic of the binary. Multi-stage binaries. Recent trends in cybersecurity have seen the rise of attackers using what's known as multi-stage binaries in their campaigns, especially malware. These attacks involve using multiple binaries responsible for different actions rather than one performing the entire attack. Usually, an attack involving various binaries will look like the following. Number one, stage one, the dropper. The binary is usually a lightweight, basic binary responsible for actions such as enumerating the operating system to see if the payload will work. Once certain conditions are verified, the binary will download the second, much more malicious binary from the attacker's infrastructure. Number two, stage two, which is the payload. This binary is the meat and bones of the attack. For example, in the event of ransomware, this payload will encrypt and exfiltrate the data. Sophisticated attackers may further split actions of the attack chain, examples, lateral movement, into additional binaries. Using multi-stages helps evade detection and makes the analysis process more difficult. For example, a small, more harmless initial binary is likelier to evade detection via email filtering than a fully fledged binary that performs malicious actions such as encryption. Additionally, splitting these functions into multiple stages gives the attacker much more control. Examples are only downloading specific stages once conditions such as time have been met. The diagram below shows what an attack involving multiple staged binaries will look like. So you can check this out. You got the first stage here. Phishing email, compromised site, which is entry point, drops, doc, PDF, RTF, basically drops some sort of file here, initial dropper file. Stage 2 executes, downloader from the web, and then it says download and executes XEDLL, which is the malware or payloads, right? So that's pretty much the gist of it. Jingle.net all the way. For today's task, it will be reverse engineering two .NET binaries using the decompiler ILSpy. You can follow the walkthrough below in reverse engineering using an example application named demo.exe. Then you will reverse an application on your own at the end of the task. Exciting. Before analyzing our target, we need to learn and find a way to identify the original binary file, modify it, or use it as evidence. Also, it is good practice to have a big picture of the file we are dealing with so that you can choose the proper tools we will need. Let's start by navigating to the file location in the demo folder on the machine's desktop by right-clicking on the file named demo and right-clicking on or clicking on properties. Okay, so here's demo here. So let's go ahead and open this up. There it is. Right-click properties. Okay. We can observe that the file's extension is a .exe, indicating that it is a Windows executable, and we can see that here. Okay. Since it's a Windows file, we'll use PE Studio, a software designed to investigate potentially malicious files and extract information from them without execution. This will help us focus on the static analysis side of the investigation. Let's open PE Studio from the taskbar and then click on File Open and select the demo.exe located here. as shown below. So let's do that. All right. And that's IL and this must be P Studio. Okay. So I clicked on that. Then File, open File, and then we can go to the this desktop here. Okay, there's demo.exe. Open this up. Okay, so it looks good to go here. As shown below, PStudio will display information about the file. So let's start by enumerating some of the most important aspects we can get from it. Using the left panel, we can navigate through different sections that will share different types of information about the file. In the general information output displayed when opening the file, we can see the hash of the file in the form of SHA-256. This architecture type or the architecture type is in this case the x64, the file type, and the signature of the language used to compile the executable. In this case, .NET framework that uses the C# language. So this is a bigger picture of what that looks like here. And we can see that over here on the side. If we just move this over a little bit. So you can see all that information here. Okay, let's continue on. Let's focus on some critical data we can obtain. First, if we want to identify the file and provide evidence of its alteration, we need to take note of the file's SHA-256 hash, as we mentioned above, as well as the hash of each section on the PE file. PE stands for Portable Executable, and it's the format in which Windows executables are arranged. You can learn more about it here, so check that out if you're interested in learning more. These sections represent a memory space with different content of the Windows executable within the P format. We can calculate the hash of these sections in order to identify the executable properly. We'll focus this time on two hashes. The first one from the .text section, which is the section on the file containing the executable code. This section is often marked as read and executable, so it should not have any alterations when the file is being copied. We can observe them in the screenshot below, and this is what it looks like here. So they went to footprints, and then there's the section, text, MD5 hash, and some other hashes in there too. So if we do the same thing, click on footprints, same information right there. Another essential section we can use to obtain information about the binary is the indicators section. This section tells us about the potential indicators like URLs, other or other suspicious attributes of a binary. So they went to indicators at the top. You can see all the stuff in there. So let's go ahead and follow along. Indicators and strings. You can see stuff here. All right, all kinds of information. You can also scroll over and see that. All right. The screenshot above shows several strings on the file, like file names, URLs, and function names. This can be very important depending on the file's execution flow. Additionally, looking for artifacts such as IP addresses, URLs, and crypto wallets can be a quick win for gathering some identifying intelligence. We'll learn about that in the next section. Now that we have information about the file we are investigating, let's try to understand what the executable is doing. We need to understand its flow. If we try to read the file by opening it, we cannot do since it's in binary format. In the previous section, we learned that the file is compiled using the .NET framework used by the C# language. We can decompile the binary code into C# using a decompilation tool like ILSpy. This tool will decompile the code, providing us with readable information we can use to determine the flow of execution. Let's start by opening ILSpy from the taskbar and then clicking on File, Open, and then navigate to the demo application. So let's do that here. Okay. It says in selecting the demo.exe, the tool iSpy can take up to 30 seconds to appear on the screen. So take that into account here. But we have it open here. And then we're going to go to File, Open, go to the desktop here, then that demo file right there, open it up. Okay, there we go. And looks like this here. Okay. As we can observe from above, the left panel contains the libraries used by the framework, and the actual depiled code is the section or is in the section with the file name demo. Let's click on it to expand and see what it contains. So there's demo, expand it, okay, and they expanded the demo binary programs. So there we go. main string information there. There's a bigger picture of what it looks like. Okay, so we're in the same area here. This over here is what they're referencing. As the screenshot above shows, ILSpy can provide much information like metadata and references. However, the actual show is displayed on the brackets symbol. Well, these are curly braces. The curly braces symbol, and in this case under demo binary program main, which is actually the main function of the executable. Now that we have access to the code running on the binary, let's analyze it. So it looks like this here. We have the same thing here. All right. So you can see all kinds of information here. You can see potential callback or C2 servers where it connects back to, something like that, possibly. Um, anyway, so let's go ahead and continue on. And it's going to explain all this stuff, I'm sure. The code above displays the main function in its code. We can observe that first. It prints to the screen the message hello THM demo binary using the code.writeLine method. Console.write hello THM yada yada yada. And or it then uses the sleep method to wait for 5 seconds. So there you go, 5 seconds. Then it assigns a value to two string variables, address and text. The first one with a URL accessing a PNG file, and the second one with a file name on the user's desktop name thm demo-png. That's what it looks like here. Then it will try to connect to the URL on the address variable and save the content to a file on the desktop using the web class or web client class. And it will then execute the download a file path assigned to the text variable using the process class and the start method as displayed below. So it looks like this here, right? Okay. It says finally it prints the message bye bye, leaving THM demo binary again to the console and waits for 5 seconds using the sleep method before closing. Great work, or great. We now understand what the binary is doing. It will download a PNG file to the user's desktop from the URL here. Let's execute the file and see if it is true. Once the binary starts, wait for the text hello thm binary or demo binary to appear and then press enter to download file. Note, we are only executing the binary because we are in a sandbox environment. Execution of an unknown binary on a host machine is not recommended. I mean, that should be common sense right there. You don't want to infect your own machine messing around with potential malware files, right? But anyway, so it's going to do something like this whenever we launch it. So if we go back to it, we can get out of this. And so I'm going to double click it. There it is. So it's going through, did everything here. There's the file. Okay. Just after executing the file, we can observe that it was downloaded to the desktop and the messages print to the screen as expected. Also, the downloaded file is executed and opened using the default app for the PNG paint. Excellent. We successfully reverse engineered the flow of the code. Now that we have some practice, join McSkitty and help investigate the alerts coming from the file WireDogSec. Put on your reverse engineering hat and help decipher the mystery behind this suspicious binary. Note, to answer the question, you will need to reverse the application WireDogApp.exe located here. Okay, so we have some questions here to answer. So go through and try to answer these yourself, then come back to the video and we will continue on. Let's take a look here. What is the function name that downloads and executes files in the Wareville app.exe? So we have it fired up inside of ILSpy here. And you can see Wareville app. Look at a couple drop downs here, and you'll come across this under fancy app form 1. You can see this one that sounds interesting called download and execute file. So this is probably what this answer is going to be. So let's go ahead and try to type that in there. All right, let's see if they need that at the end. Yep. Okay. So now let's just download and execute file. Once you execute the Wareville app.exe, it downloads another binary to the downloads folder. What is the name of the binary? What is the domain name? What domain name is the one from where the file is downloaded after running wareville.exe? Stage 2 binaries to execute automatically and creates a zip, blah, blah, blah. What is the name of the EC2 server? All right, well, if we look in here, we can see an address, and this could be one of the answers here, it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this, because obviously it's going to this site here, is what it looks like to me, and explore.exe. Um, so let's see here. Maybe this is the second stage. Let's see if that's the answer they're looking for. No. Okay, so it's got to be the first one then. Probably this one. Yep. Okay, so we'll probably have to revisit this one and see if we can find where the second stage is coming from. It's probably in here somewhere. I just need to look for it. But all right, let's go ahead and run this, and we're gonna go here, and there it is. So let's fire it off, see what it does. Okay, it's doing all kinds of stuff here. Um, let's just do this, I guess, test and test. In progress. Okay. Was that it? All right. So let's see. Once you execute the WireDogSec to the downloads folder, um, I don't see it in here unless it's like hidden or something. Let's see. Yeah, there's nothing in here. Let's look around, I guess. Let's see here. Well, there's okay. Well, there's a zip file in here, and there is a picture of somebody. Glitch in that dog. All right. What is this zip file here? Collected files. Okay. So let's go back. I didn't ask for a zip file this here. Okay, so this is probably what it is. This collected files. Let's see here. Collected files dot zip. Oop, zip. And there we go. Wow, this is like super lagging today. All right, so we need to find these other two in here. Take a look at this downloads folder, see what's going on here, and then also this stage 2 binary. For this one here, where it says downloads another binary to the downloads folder, you go back and take a look at the code here, and you can see that it's going to this particular domain here, and it's going and downloading this file here, so that should be what we are looking for. And after that, you can see the string text equals path dot combine, right? And then if you go and look at it, you can see it's like special folders, stuff like that. You can see it's referencing the downloads folder, and then also the file name. Whoops. Yeah, the file name here, explore.exe. So that's probably what they're looking for here. And if it lets me type this in, okay. And last one says, what is the name of the EC2 server where the stage 2 binary tries to upload files? All right. Now for this one, apparently you will need to go to this website here to get this file. So I'm going to copy that, and then you can go to, let's open up Edge. I'm going to see if this works. If it, I'm not sure if this is going to work or not. It says no internet access. Let's see. All right, let's see what happens. And if we go and check, you can see it downloaded some files, right? So let's get out of this and then swing back over to the downloads folder, and you can see there's 3 in here. But let's go ahead and delete these other 2 that we don't need. And now we're going to open up this instead of IL Spy. Let's open. And I'm not sure how you would even know to do this, honestly, because I don't think it even explained that in uh in the task earlier. But anyway, so you can see the new item down here, the Explorer, and you're gonna do the same thing. Go ahead and try to find, I guess, the main function or whatever. And let me minimize all this stuff here, make it easier to read. All right, so there's something called file collector. That sounds interesting. Program. Take a look here. There's the main. There's upload to server as well. So we'll probably have to look at both of these. So we have to go through and review all this information here. And it looks like it's referencing various different file extensions here. Collected files. Okay, that was the name of the zip, right? And it's doing all kinds of stuff in here. File found and copied plus yada yada yada. Collect the files.zip, which we already know because we saw that earlier. And then we need to figure out where it's getting uploaded to. So probably going to be this function here. And this looks like it's going to be it here. So let's go ahead and copy this over. And it looks like we only need the, I guess the domain here. So let's go ahead and copy that, plug it in. There we go. Awesome. It says if you enjoyed this task, feel free to check out the x86 assembly crash course room. Hit complete, and we are done with this particular task. Now, I am not very familiar with reverse engineering, malware analysis stuff. I've only done it, less than a handful of times. And that was mainly because I took a course by TCM Security, and I'll have the link in the description box for that. I also did a video review over that as well. But this is something that you will need to continually practice with so that you can be familiar with how the process works and everything. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you know every time I upload or post something to my channel. Comment on your thoughts and opinions on the information shared in the video. As always, thank you for taking the time to watch. Have a nice day, and I will see you in the next one.